episode of Cam in Focus Weekly. If you missed the first one, I don't blame you. It did not end up on this channel. It actually ended up over on the Feast of Fandoms channel because we had some technical difficulties that I could not get around, unfortunately. But now I'm home. So I'm Cam of Cam in Focus, and with me today are, I'm going to go this way here, Cody. How are you, Cody?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. Further over to the right is Debbie. How are you?
Hello, puppets.
All right, right below me here is Andrew. Andrew, how's it going?
Thought I was going last, but that's all right. I'm doing good.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're so used to being last, you know. I feel like I have to kind of move you up the ladder a little bit here.
I feel special now. Yeah.
And then down in the corner is Dave. How are you?
I'm good. Save the best for last. I see how it is.
Of course.
All right.
Of
See,
course.
that's what I was hoping for.
Now, Debbie, Andrew, and Dave, some of y'all might know from the Cantina Happy Hour live streams that we do every Thursday. I am on almost every Thursday. Every now and then I have life that happens, but that is also over on the Feast of Fandoms YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to them, go ahead and check them out. Lots of good stuff over there. We always have fun. So, for today's episode, we are talking about the 1994 film Stargate. Now, I had no idea what to expect going into this. Dave, I'm assuming you'll probably have a conniption. This was my first time watching this movie.
I'm not gonna have a conniption. I'm happy. I'm so grateful that you made us watch this movie because I got to watch it again and fall in love with it all over again. So
is that right? Well, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that I was able to do that for you. I really had no idea what to expect going into this, but we'll get into everything. I'm gonna kind of, go clockwise here. Cody, what did you think of the movie? Had you ever seen it before?
So I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like it's familiar to me, but rewatching it, no. So I'm gonna say probably not. I've never been a Stargate fan, so no. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's held up really well. Like especially even some of the practical effects. I was like,
oh, for sure.
Okay. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Debbie, what did you think?
This is one of my favorite movies. I love it. Peak James Spader, peak Kurt Russell. You can't get any better than that. I just love it. It's a very close 10. I have a few problems with it, but probably an 8.5 or a 9 for me.
Wow, that's a pretty good rating. I mean, it definitely shows its age in some ways. I mean, 1994 kind of comes with its cheesiness, but we will definitely get into all that. Andrew, what did you think of the movie? I assume this is probably your first time seeing it because it's been around longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, it's 11 years older than me. Can you believe it? Yeah, it was a first time watch for me, and I really enjoyed it. I know nothing about Stargate going into it, so I don't know anything about the lore or anything.
Sure.
But Kurt Russell and James Spader were great, and it's silly at times, but it's kind of that typical late 80s, early 90s kind of cheesy that you expect a little bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like over the top. I found a 4K copy of it, so It looked really good. So yeah.
Wow, you went out and you bought the movie for this.
No, I did. Sorry. Someone uploaded it to YouTube on 4K, and then I was able to change the setting to also be in 4K on my computer. So,
man, I was about to give you all kinds of kudos, and you just squashed it. Unbelievable.
Actually, I did buy it. It's at my neighbor's house right now, so I can't get it. But you know what?
Dave, do I even have to ask you what you thought of it?
Well, I didn't go out and buy this movie for the sole purpose of watching it here. I was a little disappointed that it was not available on streaming anywhere.
Yeah.
And I dusted off my DVD copy, which my DVD copy of this movie is so old that it's actually on two sides. Like,
oh wow!
Like halfway through the movie, you have to
it's
pull
only
the
a
DVD
2-hour
out, flip it
movie.
over. I know, right?
Oh
So
man.
that's just showing the age of this. I think when I initially owned this movie, it was on VHS. So
Yeah.
again, you're showing the age. I also have a widescreen copy,
Nice.
which well, hold on, PlayStation, and maybe I haven't figured it out because the only TV I have right now that has anything hooked up that I can watch this on has my PlayStation. Well, PlayStation has a rough time with DVDs
Sure.
and especially widescreen DVDs. So I was like on a TV this big, watching it about this big and this big.
Oh,
So it was
gosh.
just
Gotcha.
it was pretty rough. I mean, not rough. I was able to watch it and enjoy it, but it wasn't. You said 4K copy, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I've got to go out and buy me a 4K copy of this.
I tried to look on like Amazon, and it was like from like previously owned, but it was like for like $30 or $40, and I was like,
Oh, I believe it.
oh,
Yeah.
So,
Gotta love the
on my
classics.
Reddit, too.
yeah. So
Well, yeah. I mean, this was my first time watching it, and but like going into it, I'm thinking, all right, space and aliens and '90s cheese. That's what I was expecting with it, and then it gets going, and it's all about like ancient Egypt.
yeah,
I thought-
you like Ancient Egypt, Cam, because our 2 movies have had to do with ancient Egypt.
Yeah,
Well, to be
I've seen
fair,
it.
I had no idea. I didn't know going into this that it was going to be ancient Egypt, and so I'm thinking, oh god, I hope that the audience doesn't think I'm going for a theme here.
Yeah, next
We got
week we'll
Prince of
do
Egypt next
modern
week,
day Egypt.
so
we need to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark next, I think.
Yes.
yeah, I'm down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't do this. I have a schedule.
Cam's getting mad.
I'm starting to sweat already. You guys are killing me. Yeah, and I have there's a website that I found actually where that it has like every movie that I've searched for is there on it somewhere, and I'll send you guys the link later for anything that we might not be able to find on streaming. And that's how I watched it, and so I'm watching this movie like on my phone. But surprisingly, I feel like that didn't take away from it too much because it just looks so good. It is a good looking movie. I was honestly really surprised by that. Between the really good cinematography, the practical effects, I was surprised.
This looks better
how
than
good
Gods
it
of
looked.
Egypt, and there's like a 15-year difference. I mean, it did.
I could,
Yeah.
I
Practical
could
versus
poop on a
CGI.
plate and it would look better
Yeah.
than Gods of Egypt.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The only issue I had with it as far as effects go was and this was true of most of the movies like mid 90s is you're just barely touching on the whole CGI aspect of it, so it's really kind of in its infancy as far as using it as an effect. And so
there he is.
hey,
Hey,
Sorry, I didn't see you
Hello.
down there. I hope you weren't waiting for too long.
No,
just-
I had some trouble getting in.
No worries. All right, so what were you saying, David?
but anyway, but like using CGI as an effect, I mean, you're still really kind of in your infancy. And there's another movie that I'm thinking of just like off the top of my head to where this was really prominent in. But like the scenes where the helmets would roll back and
Yeah.
reveal the men underneath, you're looking at that going, oh God, that's awful looking. That is some horrible looking CGI. But you know what? I watched not too awful long ago Lost in Space with William Hurt and
Nice.
Matt LeBlanc and God, I can't even remember who else was in that. Oh, not Jeffrey Rush. What was his name?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Yes,
Yes.
Gary Oldman. But the Matt LeBlanc character had a helmet that would fold out and fold on like that, and just watching that, and even the character, the little alien thing that they came across was just like you're just looking at it going, oh God, that hurts. That's so bad. So, I mean, it's very dated. I mean, it at the time it was like, oh my God, that's so cool, and now you're looking at it going, ooh, that's kind of rough.
Yeah. It's especially with the Gary Oldman spider.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty rough looking these days.
yeah.
we need to add that to the list. I haven't seen it yet.
You
Come
haven't seen
on.
Lost in Space?
Not the movie. No. I haven't.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm down for Lost in Space. But again,
I saw
I
some
have
of
a
the
schedule,
Netflix
so it's
show.
gonna have to wait
But-
for a few weeks. But
Right. Maybe in a
Yes,
year
sir.
we'll get to it.
yeah. So the movie starts off in Egypt. I think the year was 1928 that it starts off,
Mhm.
and the version of this that I was watching had Italian subtitles on it, and
No fair. Mine didn't have any.
and well, as the characters are talking, I'm trying not to read the subtitles and just focus on what they're saying, and I'm like, they're speaking English. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not.
Oh, in the first part, I
The
did.
Yeah.
the
was
very
like-
first scene.
I was like,
I
what
know.
did
I had the
get?
same thing. Yeah. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
is this not an English dub of the movie? That's what I first
Yeah.
thought. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm glad I wasn't the only one because that really messed me up. I restarted the movie like 4 times. I was like,
It's
where are the
is there
options?
something wrong with my DVD player?
Literally.
yeah. Be like, Mom, it's not working.
It'd be worse. You could have had a really, really old copy of it, and it's just looks
True.
silly.
It only comes with the Spanish subtitles because every DVD had that back then. You couldn't get the
Well, I didn't
English;
have
it was only
subtitles,
Spanish for
so
some
I
reason.
couldn't- and I couldn't really hear what they were saying. So I was like, am I just not hearing this right, or is this a foreign language?
I really hope
So
that
I
what they're
was-
saying isn't very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Literally, I hate that. Or then the subtitles pop up and it'll be like foreign language. Like, thank you, subtitles. God, that's my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, gotta love those generalized closed captions where it's like, plate scoots across table.
Yeah.
Okay, grunting. Okay.
Breathing heavily.
Or actually, I can't remember what movie it was, but one I watched recently, and the subtitle was SFX sound in parentheses. And I was like, okay, thanks. I was like, if I was totally non-hearing, that wouldn't tell me anything.
So Michael, since you just got in here, I hadn't got the chance to ask you. Was this your first time watching Stargate? What'd you think?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry, I had to mute myself. My roommate had to
Blink
ask me
twice if you can hear me.
Blinks twice.
Subtitles blinks twice.
I'm glad I swallowed my
I
water.
will say that I actually had to basically. I've never seen this movie before, and I actually had to basically get a highlights version of it because I could not find it on any of the streaming platforms that I use.
I shared the YouTube copy that I found in the chat.
Oh, did you? I missed that.
Yeah, because then I
So
made
I
the
made-
joke about commercials being okay, and then we went on the spiel of old commercials.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
that's right. Well, damn. But yeah.
Oh well.
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, no, I basically went and had a highlights reel thrown at me and was like, okay, well, I kind of know what's going on here. Seems like I really missed out on it. I feel like.
Yeah, I got
So-
you. Yeah, well, yeah, I understand. You know, I was thinking, you know, as I'm watching this, I'm just like, how have I never seen this before? Because I remember as a kid, I went through several years of where I was just watching every science fiction movie I could get my hands on, and it all started after having watched Star Wars for the first time, and so somehow, some way, this movie just flew under my radar. Like, I was always aware of it, I always knew that it existed, but I just never got around to actually sitting down to see it. I saw Lost in Space, I saw Pandorum, I saw Event Horizon, I saw every edgy sci-fi movie you could think of, and Stargate just did not make that list.
Be honest, Cam. You liked the Doom movie, didn't you?
The Dune movie?
Doom.
Oh, Doom. Oh, God, no. I hate that movie. And like that was The Rock when he was still a pro wrestler, and so he acted like a pro wrestler. And like the dubbing, the dubbing for so many of his scenes is just so bad. There's a scene where he turns back to his crew and he says, "Everyone on me and watch your goddamn footing." Like, watch his lips as he says that, and it's not even close. It's I hate that movie.
I saw it once, and that was enough.
So we should add it to the list,
Yeah.
right? Is what you're saying.
I don't
My
think I
list just keeps
one.
on growing.
We need a board to write the list.
We need a Google Doc. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, I got to put like a spreadsheet or
We'll just
something.
put it up
If
in
I
the
knew how to
comments.
operate Microsoft
Spreadsheet.
Excel, I would make a spreadsheet.
Let's do PowerPoint. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be a Cam and Focus episode. It's just a PowerPoint presentation as to why this movie is so bad.
Well, you can always make a document in Google Drive, and then everybody can just add movies, and then you can go from that.
Yeah, I certainly could do that. See, Debbie, this is why I keep you around. You always have the good ideas.
Yeah,
She does.
I come in handy occasionally.
She's my secretary.
I will say this about Stargate. I never was big into the movie. I saw like 3 or 4 times on the theater, and then like I said, it hit VHS, and it was one of my favorites for a while. That one and Jurassic Park were like Jurassic Park or any of the Star Wars movies were like you could come into my house and it was like, do you want to watch a movie? And it's going to be one of those. That's
Sure.
your choices, right? But as far as Stargate goes, I mean, that was real big. I was in high school. I think I was a junior in high school when this movie came out. And I was in a multimedia class. And so, it was just a bunch of geeks that were running around with video cameras making movies and stuff. And I've got a VHS somewhere around here in my box of VHS tapes of crap that we made. And you could watch that and you could see a lot of the influence. And I don't mean influence like the sci-fi influence. I'm talking about the influence like the ancient Egypt influence of all of this. And I mean, just we used lines from the movie to create our ancient Egypt scenes. And I don't mean the English lines. I'm talking about we copied down what they said. And Sakai, soy, and it's just us talking in this stupid ancient English or ancient Egyptian language, and it's just that was our monologues, that was our thing, and we're just saying these dumb lines, which we have. I mean, you see what the subtitles say. We knew what they meant, but they meant absolutely nothing as to what we were saying.
Oh man, that's so cool though.
So, I mean, it really is. We did a project for. Have you ever read Mathland? It's a book by like an ancient Greek.
Mathland?
Mathland, yes, and it has to do with
Math
like shapes.
That sounds like a theme park for Asians.
Yes, check it out. It's a really odd story and just the way it was set up. But
Cam's like, how do I answer that?
we used the Stargate to bring Mathland, which is a 2-dimensional world, into the 3-dimensional world, and then we were all Egyptians and running around and trying to catch. It was really, I mean, wild stuff. It was, like I said, a bunch of corny teenagers walking around with camcorders that you hold up on your shoulder like this, and back in the day.
And it's funny because this movie, as I'm watching it, I'm seeing so many other films in this. I'm seeing so many other movies that were so heavily influenced by this. Just in the second scene of the movie where we're introduced to Daniel Jackson, played by James Spader. He's telling all these professors about how this thing about Egypt is wrong, and this thing is in this thing, and I'm thinking to myself, this is freaking Atlantis. The scene where Milo
literally.
is rehearsing his speech about where the shepherd's journal is. I'm like, this is straight up Atlantis.
And what's funny about it is Stargate spun off like 2 or 3 different TV shows.
Yes.
Right. SG1 and I think Atlantis.
Atlantis was the other one. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a third one, I believe. SG1 was great. Richard Dean Anderson. Oh my God. I didn't care for the guy. I didn't care for the guy who replaced Jackson, the Jackson character, but I loved Richard Dean.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie. Now, the Jackson character was replaced by somebody else. However, Jackson was a different character.
Yes.
I mean, Jackson was still, and in fact, I think James Spader even made a cameo appearance on 1 or 2 episodes as Jackson. They went back to that world to visit. I could be wrong, but
Oh yeah, you're right
think
because
we
they made
did.
the joke about their names being different, but they're really not.
something like
I
that.
remember that because my
honestly,
dad was a huge SG1 watcher.
I didn't care for the shows, to be honest with you, because the movie was amazing to me.
Just so good by itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
SG1 was really good until I'm trying to remember.
Until the
year?
first episode.
No, Richard Dean Anderson, who played like the Kurt Russell character.
Oh,
He was on there for a long time, and then I think he left during the last few seasons, and then it kind of went wonky. And then you have Stargate Atlantis, and then the other one, which I can't remember. And then plus they have some other movies with these characters. But yeah, when they got to Atlantis, they had this one character that was super annoying. Oh god, I think he was the doctor or something. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I really did not like him. But SG1 is really good.
Stargate Universe was the third one,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
and it ran
Yeah.
for 40 episodes. Holy crap!
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
But
That's
also,
a long TV show now, though.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a huge gap between when the movie released and when SG1 came out?
Yeah,
4 years
Yeah.
almost, yeah.
So,
So it
SG1
begs to think, was there going to be another movie?
SG1 came out 3 years after the movie.
Oh, so not that long.
It wasn't huge, but it was. I mean, and it ran for 10 seasons, 10 years, and then Atlantis kicked off 10 years after the movie, and Stargate Universe kicked off about 14 years after the movie. So
Dang. So it's pretty much just like nonstop after the first show.
yeah,
So that's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking that there was a bigger gap than that, but I guess that's not really that far. I was just thinking it felt like the way they ended it, they set up like a film universe almost.
the thing with this with this show was, and then this was just my opinion, was you also had going on at the time, you had Next Generation that was happening. You had Next Generation and Deep Space Nine that was kind of sort of happening all at the same time. And so you were either watching Next Generation or you were watching Stargate, and I couldn't get into Stargate, like I said, because my love of the movie was there.
I didn't watch the series until it was several years later, because when they announced it, I was so excited. But then when I found out James Spader wasn't going to be in it, I was like, geez. So I didn't watch it.
That threw me too. Plus,
Yeah,
I was looking at it thinking, well, this doesn't make any sense because Jackson's not going to be there because he got left on the other planet. So,
well, yeah.
Why am I going to watch this? And it doesn't have Kurt Russell in it. So, again,
what's the point? The
Why
two main
even make
reasons to watch it, and they're not there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So after he gives his speech to these professors, he leaves. He's embarrassed, and he's found by, what was it, Catherine or Catalina?
Catherine.
Yes.
Catherine, who was there at the dig site back in 1928, and she says, basically, I have a special job for you, and. So watching the two of them interact, I mean, I don't know if they have chemistry or no chemistry. Because I feel like her performance against his is a little strange. I don't know if I was the only one who felt that way.
Kinda. I felt like it was more like they had a history, not necessarily chemistry. Like they were trying to play like, oh, our characters have been through something. It could have been like romantic, but it was just. But I know what you mean. It was kind of like off.
I think it was exactly what it needed to be, because you've got her, a stranger, basically propositioning him with a job, and he doesn't know what's going on. And,
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
she
little
knows-
awkward.
She like knows everything about him. She's reading his file saying, "Oh, look, you don't have any, you have no money left.
Yeah.
Your grants are gone. You've been evicted. Everything you own's in those 2 bags right there. You got no other choice than to
Yes.
come with me." So, yeah, your chemistry is going to be a little bit off because one,
Sure.
you're thinking, "Who is this person? Why do they know everything about me?" And because of that, do I need to trust them? So,
No, I agree absolutely with what you said, but I think that that's what she was playing, but then he was playing like, oh, but I know you. So that was the only thing I meant. But also at this point in the movie, to me, it felt like we were going into the intro of a Doctor Who episode. Like, you know how they always have a setup and then there's the doctor? That's how it felt for me. I was like, this is a movie. So
And she gives him his travel plans, and I couldn't help but laugh at this. He pulls out his plane ticket or whatever it is in the rain. In the
I laughed
pouring
at that
rain. I'm
too.
like, what are you
Yes.
doing?
it's so irritating.
But I mean, of course, sometimes curiosity outweighs logic. But
I don't know if you caught this, but they also said, "Don't worry about your bags. We'll take care of them." When he got into the car,
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
said everything you own is in those 2 bags, and it showed the 2 bags, and they're sitting there under the rain getting
Yeah.
soaked. I was like, "Oh, great job taking care of them, there, guys. Appreciate that."
So funny.
yeah, I saw that too. And well, when the shot comes over and we see those bags in the rain, the first thing I was looking for is, are those bags waterproof? I hope so.
No,
But-
he does, though.
Yeah. She takes him to no, where is it? Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah, to
Hey,
the mill.
Just military installation in Colorado. That's all it
Yes.
says was military installation.
Yes. She takes him to this military installation, and as they're going in, we're introduced to General West, and we see Kurt Russell coming in with his clean crew cut, and it was. It was very reminiscent of a whole bunch of other things that I've seen, and it's crazy like how much I see other movies in this movie. You know, with the introduction of them walking into this military installation, and then they find the big thing that they're looking for. Then they're introduced to all the important people, and I feel like, oh, what's the military procedure here? I feel like it should be a lot more in depth than this.
They're like, just do a quick little check on your pat down real quick, make sure you're good.
Yeah,
all
then
right,
after
come
the
in.
fact, they're like, oh, well, don't say anything to him. And I was like, well, too late for that. I'm like, he's already here.
Well, but you know, though, it wasn't until the Kurt Russell character arrived that it was like, this has all become class. At this point, this is all classified now.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
is locked up and tight. And so at that point, he's introduced, he's there, he's seen at least the stone tablet thing. So
Oh, that's right. He hadn't seen the other thing yet.
He hadn't seen the Stargate
I'm
yet.
putting,
Right,
I'm putting all
right.
that before it. Yeah.
so
No,
You're right.
Now, on the topic of the Kurt Russell character, you know what? When he's first introduced and we see him in his home, you know, he's sitting on his bed, he's not talking, he's holding a gun in his hands, and then we find out from the people who went to meet him that his son accidentally committed suicide, and so
I don't think he committed suicide. I think it was he
It
was
was an
probably playing.
accidental.
It was an accidental discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died at the hands of a gun, though.
so that they set up Kurt Russell to have this, you know, traumatic backstory, and I don't know if I might have missed something or not, but I don't think they really did much with that, did they?
Oh,
I think the only time that came into play for me is when it was later revealed that he was like, well, you all were going to go home and I was going to blow this thing up.
Oh no!
No, the relationship with the kids at the
Yeah.
tribe.
Gotcha.
Oh, you know what? Yes.
Part. That was
Yeah,
a big
okay,
deal. And in fact, with them, when they
And he was
rescued-
protective of him with the guns, you know.
And when they rescued him and Jackson from the pyramid, and they said that the other guys were sitting there saying, "Hey, you know, they're willing to help," and he's like, "No, all these people need to go home." He's like, "They don't need to be any part of this." And
You know,
he
you
didn't
are
want
so
to
right.
be
I
part of
literally
it.
missed all that. I didn't even correlate the two things.
I was
I
going
was
to
just
say
thinking
I
he had a
didn't make
martyr
that connection
complex.
either. Oh,
I just thought he had a murder complex because of the son. I was like, oh, here we go. He's going to be mean. And then he's going to be like, all right, guys.
No, because even
But,
when
yeah.
he was, when he was teaching the one kid, and well, I say teaching the one kid, when he had the lighter, and he was teaching the kid how to smoke, and
Yeah. That was
and
funny.
then the kid reached over and grabbed the gun, and he was like, "No!" I mean, he smacked him away and was like, "No, no, no, no! You don't play with that. You can
Yeah.
have the lighter and you can play with the fire and smoke, but don't play with this gun, because guns kill. The cigarettes are fine. Go ahead and play with those."
The cigarettes are fine. You'll be good. It was the
I d- You're
90s.
not
We
gonna
didn't know
die,
about
yeah.
we didn't know about cigarettes yet.
I did definitely laugh a little bit whenever the kid was imitating him, and when he goes to inhale the cigarette, the kid does it too, and he starts hacking his lungs out, and he throws it down and stomps on it like it was a bug that bit him or something.
That's funny.
Yep.
I actually kind of forgot about that part, and then halfway through, I was like, well, not halfway through the shoot. This is almost all the way to the end of the movie. He was like using the lighter to reflect to the guy, and I was like, where did he even get that lighter? And then I was like, oh yeah, duh. It was like stupid.
Now,
Not
now,
that
I
was
don't-
stupid. I'm stupid.
Now, I don't know if this was just like a '90s thing or not, but when they're finally introduced to the tribes people, and then we have the one shot of the beautiful woman looking at the main character, I'm like, love interest.
Oh, yeah.
Like I saw it coming like a mile away, and I'm thinking to
The
myself,
second she walked up, I was like,
Well,
yes,
it was everybody. Everybody in that village was old, not old, but they were worn and they were ugly, and it looks like they had been working out in the sun, and they had the leathery skin and all
Yeah.
wrinkly and
Yeah.
everything. And then here's
Mhm.
this beautiful. And it's like, yeah.
and if you remember when they first showed her, the other people literally like parted way for her as she was walking forward.
It's like Moses
And I was
in the Red
like,
Sea.
dang guys, you might as well have a little pop-up that says this is the love interest.
yeah. All we need
But
now
you're
is
right.
for
Subtitles,
Bruce
this
Campbell
is
to
the
come out of
love
nowhere and be
interest.
like, "Give me some sugar, baby."
Yeah.
I was like, do I need to be covering
Subtitles,
my eyes
love
here?
interest walked in.
Yeah, that was something towards the end. With that.
I was watching my
like, you're
laptop,
just
I'm like,
kissing her. She
Mom,
don't
it's
even know
not
what
what
you're
you
saying, dude.
Mom, they said this was PG-13.
Literally. I mean, it was pretty innocent especially for sci-fi. Just
Oh
some
yeah,
kissing.
no, for sure. And I was wondering where they were going to go with that because strange person on a strange planet. They were either going to go the Army of Dead route or Army of Darkness route where they have a fling and then it's over, or they were going to do the other thing and have the guy just stay there because of her. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever he chose to stay, kind of warmed my heart a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
too, you
Aw.
honestly kind of expected it even before the love interest was introduced. I just on the first time viewing of this, I was like, he's going to end up staying there because if you think about it, you're in a world where everybody thinks you're kind of you're the geeky scientist and nobody takes you seriously, and you've got all these weird theories and stuff, and now you're in a place where all of your
You're proven
theories,
right.
all of your theories are right, and these people kind of worship you as a god because you're wearing. I mean, yeah, he's wearing the necklace and everything, but still, they revere you. Yeah, I'm gonna stay there too.
Yeah.
Plus, they kind of were really heavy-handed with being like, "You're broke. You're a loser. You have nothing.
Yeah,
We left
and
your
now
bags
he's
out
got
in the
everything.
rain." So now he's like,
He's got
I should
everything,
stay
including
here.
living in a desert where there's no rain. So he doesn't have to worry about his bags being in the rain.
it's almost to the point to where like, I can't think of the trope, but it's like nerdy dude who no one takes seriously and then becomes savior.
Yeah.
So like, because it reminds me of
Why
like,
is that-
like you said earlier, Atlantis. Exact same thing, except
Yeah.
not a planet.
I was saying but
then-
it's also like reminding me of
I forgot the circle.
was it
black
Land
ink,
of- the Land of the Lost remake movie with Will Ferrell and Danny McBride and all that. Or
I was gonna say Will Ferrell. That explains why I haven't seen it.
yeah, no, it's actually like it was bad, but like yeah, they do the same thing in that movie as well.
Gotcha.
Or I mean, even on another level, you look at the Matrix.
The loser,
Where
stays
you've got-
behind to be a god.
You've got the Keanu Reeves character who's just kind of the inverted not inverted. He stays in his
He's inside
apartment.
out.
Yeah. He doesn't do
Introverted.
anything. He sits and writes code all day, and he's a hacker.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
just he's the nerdy guy on his computer, and now he's like the savior of the world, kind of thing. So
Yes. So I was trying to look it up because I was like, I know this has to be a trope somewhere, and then all I could find was white savior trope, and I'm like, close, but not quite. Like,
So this is where it came from.
it's funny.
What's? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say it was just it was funny how many things reference that almost like verbatim scenes of this movie. And
Yeah.
I was like, this movie isn't really that old to be referenced so often. But then I was like, oh, 94. Yeah, I guess it is kind of old. And then I didn't even think about Atlantis when I was thinking of the references. And then I was thinking about the intro to Atlantis, and I was like, you could probably put them up next to each other, and frame by frame, it was super similar. Because
when did Atlantis come out? Do we have a date on that?
Was it like 99 or 2000?
No, it was in the early 2000s. I think it was 01 or 02.
Okay. Still before my
Yeah,
time,
it was,
so you
it
know.
was super early. I want to say it was like 02 or 03.
So basically, you're saying Atlantis stole from Stargate, then? Is that
100%.
Yeah. I'm not saying
100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Because
for
the way you keep saying it, I'm like, I thought Atlantis came out after Stargate, but
it came out in 01. It's a lot older.
Because you have the broke, nerdy loser who has theories about something. He gets to explore those theories with a military force. And then at the end, he stays behind because he was proven right.
Let me tell you about some theories I have, some ancient Egypt theories I have, and then you'll never see me again, all right?
Then they all involve beautiful women, every single one of them.
And it's so funny that no one believed him, and then I guess in the lore of this movie, he would have then just disappeared. So would no one have been like, hey, where'd the crazy guy go?
But like, oh darn, he's gone. We don't have to listen to him anymore.
Oh,
but another thing I just noticed because I googled the date for Atlantis, the logo even kind of looks like Stargate's logo.
Yeah. Now that
with the A pointing.
See, if you switch around the word Atlantis and then add some hieroglyphics, it actually says Stargate.
Now, but see too. I mean, something else too. That you say all of a sudden he's gone. But they know how to operate the Stargate on the other end now, and they know the coordinates as to where he is at. So anytime.
I meant like the science community as a whole, not the military complex, because they would have been like all at this meeting, and imagine like
screw the science
later,
community.
You're like, whatever happened to that crazy guy?
The science. Oh, that's just that's an easy fix. That's he's just like he said, he's crazy and he's gone now. So
yeah, just funny to me.
Now, I don't know if I was the only one that thought this. Michael, you probably did, and Andrew probably too. Well, when they're introduced to the tribes people, and they see that they bow to David Spader, the first thing I thought of was Lisan Al Gaib.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's why I was like, oh, here another one.
As it is, and every time his theory was right, they were like, all the more reason to believe he's the one, as it is written.
As written. and then when they all go to the big town that they all live in, they're all walking in a line, and I'm thinking, oh god, Lawrence of Arabia, they're just hitting all the notes here.
They're moving in single file so they can hide the numbers.
I think I'm gonna keep a list, keep a tab of how many movies that we go over can we find Dune references, because we had the sandworm in the last one.
Yeah.
Yes,
we had the sandworm in Gods of Egypt.
I mean, you have like your Venn
and
diagram.
now we have the.
Let's watch Game of Thrones. And we'll find a lot there.
Plus, how old is the original Dune trilogy?
The first book came out in 65.
Was it 65? I was going to say 62, but you're probably right.
Well, no,
So
it might
like
be. It's one of those.
Modern
62
sci-fi.
or 65. Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
Dune
set the standard pretty much.
I got the book. I can go check real quick if it's that important.
Oh, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
I was just curious.
You don't want me to be
I was like,
showing.
honestly, it gets referenced so often. I knew it had to be pretty old.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people kind of
Dune. I feel like Dune. I feel like Dune did for sci-fi what Lord of the Rings did for fantasy.
Yes,
I could see that. Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Tolkien was just named author of the Millennium.
Huh.
Him and his
Sometimes
thousands of
family
letters.
allowed them to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So after they're introduced to the tribes people and they get to know everybody, the men that are left behind at the camp get attacked. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I found the scene pretty tense. You know, it had a lot to do with how much the camera moved. I don't know if anybody else appreciated that as much as I did, but like the shots that were moving around the pillars and moving around the guys, I was like, wow, that is some good camera work right there. And then they're attacked by a force that we don't see, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, finally we're getting some aliens. And then it's revealed later that they're just people. I'm like, damn it!
Well, now Ra was an alien.
Ra was an alien,
even though
yes.
he was a human, but he was an alien.
Right. Well, yeah, there was what one shot of
I
him
had
in
to
his
rewatch
actual
that part
alien
the first
form.
time because I was
Yeah, he
like,
was an
what?
alien first, and then took the human possession to like live forever.
Yeah.
And then when he's
And
blown
then
up, you see him like the alien skeleton.
He kind of
and I was like-
reverted back to his alien form. Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
was scared there. I kind of maybe went to my mom, but you know. Oh wait, I wasn't muted. Oh crap!
Mom, I don't like this. Can I watch Lion King?
It's scary, Mom.
That's scary too.
People don't get that.
Shut up! I'm playing Fortnite.
She's on
But
Call of
Mom,
Duty
bring me
now.
going back and doing
If you don't have to
Doritos.
put on the Wiggles after you watch a movie, it wasn't scary enough.
I run down my ladder and fall, and then I
Yeah,
run
Bob Ross is my go-to.
And it was interesting what they did with Ra. Now, yeah, well, I mean, coming off of Gods of Egypt last time, the gods of Egypt are just that, gods. But here, you know, the father of all the gods of Egypt, they're saying, is an alien, and you know, I'm watching the movie, and the very first scene where you have these ancient people who see the spaceship landing and they all run away, and the one guy gets beamed up. As I'm watching, I'm thinking, what are they going to do with that? And then it's revealed that the alien possessed this guy and built ancient Egyptian civilization. And so I'm like, okay, I knew it. This is ancient aliens.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So at that point,
Listen,
like I kind of said earlier, I was referencing how it felt like it was going into a Doctor Who episode. At that point, I was like, this is literally a Doctor Who episode. And I had to look it up, pause the movie. And yeah, it is. It's called Pyramids of Mars. And this whole part in the middle feels like that. And I was like, that's so weird because they just referenced it on the new season of Doctor Who. And granted, the original episode's probably like 50, 60 years old. And maybe even older. So I was like, I don't know. But then when I saw the pyramid in the first scene, I probably should have just known better. Like space and pyramid. Of course they were going to reference it. But it was weird to me because, like you were saying with the camera thing, they had the storm and then it like flashed over real quick. It almost felt like a scene got cut out.
I mean, to be fair, you did watch the highlights.
No, I didn't.
No,
No,
that
that
was
was
my
mine.
fault.
You didn't?
watch the highlights.
Oh, Michael
That was
watched
me.
the
I
highlights.
I watched the highlights.
He was like, "Turn up my roast didn't work."
See,
Damn it! I thought I had something here.
the problem I had
You're
with
roasting
it
the
was-
wrong person.
the problem I had with it was that right after they were attacked and the sandstorm was happening and the ship was landing, and then it jumped to that's when the DVD ended, and I had to take it out and flip it over. So
Side
There
A,
was-
side B.
so it didn't it to me it didn't seem like there was a missed scene there. That was just the end.
I
of
wonder
the
if it just like has a long pause because they knew it was going to cut the DVD in the original pressing.
no idea.
My
Because I know that a lot
DVD
of-
is all on one DVD. Why is yours separate?
Because I have an old DVD. I have one of the originals. It's old.
He has one of the old ones where it's silver on both sides.
Yep.
The way they used to press them.
Hmm.
So sometimes it would have some of the features on the second half of it.
And in fact,
but
yeah,
usually it would
the
just be whole
special,
movie.
you couldn't watch. You had to watch the movie, and then if you wanted to watch the special features, you had to flip it back over to side one so that you could watch the special features.
So they
Huh,
started
weird.
doing that to combat Laserdiscs because they thought Laserdiscs were going to be the most popular thing. But because of the cost of a Laserdisc, the media never really took off.
See, I remember my old DVDs having full screen on one side, widescreen on the other side.
Yeah, and if you accidentally
Yeah.
hit full screen, you had to take it out and put it back in to get widescreen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have
Movies
never
used to
had
give
a
us
DVD
options.
like that.
You've never had a DVD
Really?
like? Oh,
Really?
No.
You don't have enough DVDs.
I got a couple of them.
There's also Disney Fast Play, and then the remote just like disappears when it's like Disney Fast Play, and it gives you the main menu or watch the previews because you couldn't.
Oh,
skip.
when that
Yeah.
first came out, I was like,
Oh,
"This is
man.
the best" because I hate
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Watching all the featurettes was a nightmare. I've never had the patience for that.
Mhm.
But it was a good time
Skip,
to make
skip,
popcorn or
skip.
snacks.
You'd push your sibling
If
out of
you
the way to
don't-
go grab the remote and hit skip.
If you don't remember growing up and hearing "coming soon to own" on video and DVD,
Mhm.
Oh my god.
No, what even
All right,
DVD?
yep.
then you're too
Coming
young
soon
for
on
me.
VHS and possibly Laserdisc.
Yeah.
See, I'm not. I'm not
Them's
I'm
were the
not quite
days.
old enough to remember that one.
So they used to say in summer of or whatever, and it would have the whole list of everything it was coming out on, and it would be like VHS
This
DVD.
summer, coming to a theater near you.
And then that small little 3 or 4 year window of when they were like, "Yeah, I guess we'll print some stuff on Laserdisc," and then they were like, "Just kidding," and then DVD did really well because it was cheaper.
Oh
Yes,
man,
I don't know.
bringing up
Because then
ancient
Blu-ray
history
took
here.
over.
I think
Yeah.
all our backs
And
are
then on my
starting to hurt a little bit.
Betamax.
Yeah. Back in my day, we used to have to rewind our
Coming
movies.
soon to own on Betamax.
Oh god.
God.
I had beta.
The only media format that I do not own Star Wars in is the Betamax. Everything else I do. From VHS to Blu-ray to DVD to Laserdisc.
Do you have the Laserdisc version?
I do.
Damn.
The Laserdisc version of the soundtrack is immaculate. It sounds
I've got
amazing.
the
Yeah.
Laserdisc. I've got the Laserdisc version, and then the original versions I've got in both wide and full screen on VHS.
Nice.
I honestly, I don't
So,
even
watch
think I
party at
knew
David's
that.
house.
I don't think I knew that Star Wars was even on the Betamax. But thinking about when the original came out, it had
It
to be
is.
then.
It was. Yeah, it is.
That's crazy. I wonder if the stereo was pretty good because it would have been hi-fi.
I need to. In fact,
just-
I need to look that up. Maybe I need to ask for that for Christmas this year. Maybe that needs to be on my Christmas.
Yeah,
list.
you can probably get the
Star Wars
Saga
on
for
Betamax.
maybe around 200-300.
Well,
It'd be Christmas.
Find us
and
every
birthday
Thursday on
anniversary.
Cantina Happy Hour.
yeah, right.
We're gonna
We're
start a
gonna be doing
fundraiser.
we're going to be doing a GoFundMe on the happy hour so Dave can buy Betamax of
For every $10, for every $10 donated, David will take a shot for the happy hour.
Oh my goodness!
That's right.
I will
Now we have to
donate
donate
$100 to see that.
in increments of $9.99.
So as Kurt Russell and James Spader are introduced to Raw, well, we get our first legitimate action scene where Kurt Russell takes out a couple of Raw's guards. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of fun to see that. Yeah, because I'm thinking, 90s, this is gonna look weird, and it really didn't. They had their blaster staves that son of a gun shot James Spader.
But he got fixed.
Yeah, he got fixed. And Raw, drops the
He got
bomb,
better.
quote unquote, so to speak, that he found the atomic bomb that Kurt Russell brought with him to this planet. Now I'm curious, how would Raw know that it's a bomb, that it splits the atom?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how do you know what that is?
He mentioned that you have mastered or tampered with the atom or something like that.
Yeah, you've managed to your species has split the atom. Now I think it has something. I mean, you got to think he's in a spaceship. Surely he's got some kind of technology that can sit there and say, "Hey, this is what this does." Some kind of reader to it.
Well, and I think he's probably very technically or technology advanced.
They've got masks that you can push the button and it goes and it
Yeah.
pulls the mask back.
Now,
I'm sure.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
that's true. I guess this was kind of a suspension of disbelief kind of moment.
Yeah, you don't need to know about his technology. He's got it. That's
yeah.
I mean, he brought James Spader back from the dead.
That he can with the Healy table. So I mean, it's not hard to believe that he had a microwave that was like this is a bomb.
First aid sarcophagus.
He probably could have stuck that thing in the sarcophagus, and that sarcophagus probably told him exactly what it was. So
yeah. Well,
do you think it had a pop up that was like, "This is a bomb"?
Yeah, right. Just a big red exclamation mark.
It's just like a Pokédex. It just has the voice of like the Pokédex when it's identifying different Pokemon. It's like nuclear bomb.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Created in 1948
by Robert Oppenheimer. Well, and so when Ra's plan is revealed that he wants to send the bomb back through the Stargate to blow up the Earth, basically, his reasoning is to prevent further invasions. I'm curious. Well, would he, as this alien god, I suppose, whatever he'd want to classify himself as, I feel like he'd be more curious than anything, to go over and see what new world he can conquer.
No, because I think the thing with it was that because of what had happened in the past, and they kind of talked about that when he was in the cave with the girl, and Jackson was kind of telling the story of where he came from.
Yeah,
it's more of I had power over these people, and now they've advanced so far. I don't think I would have that type of power anymore, and so it's my creation. I'm going to erase it. Is that a good way to put it?
I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I suppose I hadn't thought about it. See, this is what happens when it's just my first time watching a movie, because there are small connections within the details that I miss. So I'm glad that I have you here, because like I said, first time watching the movie, and it's it's a lot to absorb, even for a 90s sci-fi movie. It's a lot. So we have our big climactic action scene where it all comes together. Ra's finally defeated. You do get some 90s cheese. With Kurt Russell saying, what is it? Say hello to King Tut, asshole, or something like that.
Great. when they no, even better, when they brought the caravan back and they're unmasking it, they're pulling all the hoods off of all the workers, and all the workers are like this, and he winks at him and says, "Hey, how you doing?" And he shoots him. God, it's so good.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Give my regards to King Tut, asshole.
Yes, that's the one. And that's really a line that only Kurt Russell could deliver.
And the way too, where it was, he put the guy's head in the transporter and not the rest of his body, so it just transported his head back. It was great. It was great.
Yes, lots of fun there, and again, there's a lot of 90s cheese in there, but all of that throughout the film really gives it a charm that we just don't see in movies like this anymore. I feel like there's something missing from sci-fi. After having watched this movie and seeing how influential it was, I feel like there's a lot missing now that we've kind of moved on to more. Everything has to be super broody and serious on one hand, or not
dark and gritty.
And on the other hand, we have MCU humor. So it's I feel like they found a happy medium there that is kind of hard to accomplish, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have that as one of my bullet points. Like 90s sci-fi and early 2000s sci-fi, always it could be like a dead serious moment, and it would just be like, here's a funny little thing, like we were saying earlier with the bags in the rain. Like it was just like a funny little cutaway, or just like when they first go through and the guy's like, hey, and then he throws his one remaining bag like down the hill, and it was just like, wow, okay, you guys are all stuck in the desert. Why are you bullying it? And just like random funny stuff, it like takes away the grittiness of the situation and it makes it less serious, but like not in a way that like devalues the plot,
Definitely.
So I like it. I think we need more of that, because like now every time you go see a sci-fi anything, it's like you better be very serious this whole 2.5 hours.
Make me laugh once, please.
But see, what's so good is that you mentioned the Marvel stuff, and 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when people are watching, people are sitting around on YouTube and saying, we're going to watch some of these old movies and see how they pan out today, and they're watching, the Avengers. Take away the suit of armor, and what are you, billionaire playboy philanthropist? See, that's going to be one of those
Playboy
lines.
philanthropist.
They're going to be like, oh, that was. I mean, it was a serious, tense moment. And here he is cracking a joke, and it's hilarious.
Literally.
And then somebody's going to be able to say that's a line that only Robert Downey Jr. could have delivered.
See, there you go. And
Marvel loves to do this thing where it like dances right on the line of being camp, and it's just like right there. And I feel like maybe in like a decade or two, it'll just be like, people will be like, this is not serious at all.
But nowadays they just embrace it fully. Like as I'm walking out of the theater after having watched Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm just like, was it supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah.
Oh, literally.
And
that was so ridiculous.
And what you had said, Cody, about humor and whether or not it devalues the plot, Love and Thunder is a classic example. Oh, well, I say classic example, whatever. But Thor,
I know
Love and Thunder is like the prime example of how humor devalues the plot. Because on the one hand, you have Gore the God Butcher, who played by Christian Bale, fantastic. I thought like every scene he was in, I was riveted.
Literally, he was like, I am killing gods. And then it was like 2 seconds later, here's a poop joke. Not like literally, but
poop joke.
And I was like, yeah, I agree. I forgot how ridiculous that movie was.
The damn screaming goats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one that has what's his name? He just played the Wizard of Oz.
Jeff Goldblum.
I'm drawing a blank. Yes,
Jeff Goldblum.
No, that was Ragnarok. That was the one before it.
Oh yeah. He's like, he used to be such a serious actor, and now I feel like everything he's in is ridiculous. So same thing. Every time they had him on the screen, it was just like, I'm gonna say a bunch of words. And I was like, what is happening?
Well, Jeff Goldblum finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Well, you see, Cameron, life, as you know,
Did find a way.
finds a way.
I feel like that was you trying to do a Nicolas Cage impression.
That was an impression of Nicolas Cage doing a Jeff Goldblum.
Oh man.
Oh no. Now you just throw in one Christopher Walken at one of the steps, and you've got me sold.
Well, you know,
now
the way it works.
One thing I will say about this is, this is a very young James Spader, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how do I want to put this? It's almost like he hadn't been through puberty yet. He didn't have the deep voice that he has now. That's so recognizable.
No, he didn't.
So it was almost like he was still working on his voice. I mean, it was there. You could hear it in the inflection every once in a while, but I miss the voice is what, to me, I mean, that's everything for James. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's great. He was amazing. He was perfect, but I missed his voice.
Yeah, and as I was watching, I was kind of waiting for it too. Like I was waiting for him to have that one moment where that James Spader like gravel just comes out, and it didn't. I was like, ah, damn it! He's just the kooky scientist character through and through.
Yep.
Except for when he was talking to Ra and he was speaking in ancient Egyptian, I thought that was kind of a bit. It was much more of a serious moment for him. So, and I appreciate that he kind of dialed it down and just let it play.
Yeah. He was taking it seriously. So
Yes. All right. Well, my first time watching Stargate, I mean, I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised. You know, I was talking about this before, but you know, I go into this movie expecting, you know, aliens and space battles and whatnot, and I got something vastly different. But I was very pleasantly surprised.
I will honestly say that I'm ashamed to admit this, but I remember I used to get Stargate and Starship Troopers confused.
Ooh, that hurts.
I will say this too, and
No comment.
I'm about 99% positive about my thoughts on this, but I think too, watching this, you're looking at a time when there were movies and TV shows, and they were made to sell a line of toys. It was
Right.
You know, what kind of toys can we make out of this? And if I'm not mistaken, Stargate did have a line of toys that came out based on the movie.
Didn't the Stargate toys inspire Small Soldiers?
I never heard that.
Because the military soldier toy in Small Soldiers looks exactly like Colonel O'Neill or whatever his name is. O'Neill.
Kurt Russell. Let's just call him Kurt Russell.
Yeah. I wasn't going to remember that name either. But yeah, look at him. The only difference is the toy has gray hair. It's the same haircut and same outfit.
Yeah, but that's any military. You can look at any military type person. You know, all the G.I. Joes had haircuts like that. So.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, you know, and you look at it and you go, okay, we can make all these bad guy figures, and we can make, you know, a few of the good guy figures with the soldiers, and we can make the planes that they fly in, and maybe a larger, this is the pyramid play set, you know, whatever. It was just, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, okay, how can I make toys out of this, and how can I make a video game out of this?
Well, I mean, the pyramid spaceship probably made a hell of a paperweight. Or a Lego set. I could see the pyramid spaceship being a Lego set.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you had to be like a major blockbuster to get a Lego set back then, because even
it was a major
when it
blockbuster.
first came out.
Yeah, and really, I mean, Lego didn't really start doing licensed products. I want to say Star Wars might have been the first, and that wasn't until '99.
Right. And then think about it. In the 90s, how many other licensed ones were there? There weren't.
There weren't. That was, I think Star Wars was the first where they got the licensing for it. So.
And they had a really high price sale point compared to regular sets.
Right.
But, I mean, the quality was a lot better, too. I mean, even the original Death Star was, like, fantastic.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts regarding Stargate? Anything that I missed? Any comments, concerns, any lasting impressions?
Rewatching it, it's crazy how many things reference this movie. I was trying to get a small list before this, and I couldn't even compile a small list. It was just very long.
How about you, Debbie?
The only problem I had with this movie was at the very end, they left the freaking guns with the people. I was like, really? Why?
Oh, yeah, they did leave the guns.
That was my only issue with this whole movie was, why would you leave guns, a modern technology?
Well, and not only and as vehemently opposed to people having guns as Colonel O'Neill was, and
Yeah.
especially kids, you would think that okay, we're taking all the guns back. You're not getting these. Sorry.
I mean, they're
You-
not going to
you-
use them for very long because they're going to run out of bullets. But still, it was just the principle of it all.
That's
You're
true.
gonna have to
Yeah, he
figure this
was
out on
pretty.
your own.
But then, if he was like so against them using the guns, how did they all get the guns at that point? Towards the end of the movie,
Well, they had them from
because
the
he had to have shown them how to use it.
The base camp that was set up outside, it had all the guns and stuff out there.
The lieutenant colonel, who was his like second in command, he was the one that he didn't get caught by Ra. He was the one that
Yeah.
the rest of the team that was still in the village or whatever, very easily could have showed them. Okay, here's how we.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because he I forgot the colonel was caught because the nerd guy came up and was going to shoot him with the staff to pretend he was going to kill him. That's
Yeah.
right. I remember. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, you're right. That was weird. Why did they have guns at the end? Because if he was really so vehemently against it, he would have been like, no, and taken them.
My guns. We're taking them back.
Andrew, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I like you, Cam. I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll probably this is one I'll rewatch. This is the first movie since we've done this show that I will rewatch.
Hey, there we go.
So,
Well, the first since we've done this show, all 2 movies.
yeah, exactly.
That's good though. I'm glad that we're we had talked about this before. We're doing movies that maybe I didn't think of watching, or you didn't think of watching, or any of us didn't think of watching, and we're gonna find some diamonds in the rough.
Sorry.
What?
Huh? Oh, I was going to say just like you said.
Who's on
I
first?
froze for a second. Hold on.
What's on second?
I don't know.
That was on third.
I don't give a darn. Oh, that's the shortstop.
How about you, Dave? Any final thoughts? Were you glad to rewatch it?
Again, I'm glad I got to rewatch it. And what's funny about it is just really very recently, I watched another of my favorite movies from that era. It was 1998's Soldier, again with Kurt Russell as a soldier. And so getting to see him again in an action movie, God love that man. I'm gonna go on a Kurt Russell binge here shortly and watch. I mean, maybe not some of the earlier Disney stuff like the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes and The Strongest Man in the World, that kind of stuff. But he's got some. He's amazing. He's done some good stuff. So, God love you, Kurt Russell.
How about you, Michael?
So, I will say that one of my favorite parts of the movie was near the end. I mean, from the highlights that I got to watch, when they transport the nuke onto his ship as he's flying away, and it goes off, and you just see the model, like, or the skeleton or whatever that they had, that where like the explosion like peels away the skin of the dude, and you just see a skeleton for like half a second. I'm like, that's a really cool effect for the time.
Oh, for sure.
I thought
Absolutely.
it was great. But yeah, this is definitely a movie that I will now definitely watch more thoroughly. I'll have to find that link that Andrew put in the chat that I apparently missed.
Well,
I can share it again if you want. That way, it's at the top.
I say between that chat and the Hangouts chat, and it's just it's like I get lost sometimes, like, because sometimes I'll come back and it'll be like 95 messages, and I'm just like,
yeah.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try.
I'm sharing it again. The copy that I found. Totally legal.
I will say this while we've
It'll
been
say hot
watching.
singles in your area when you click the link.
Gotcha.
While we've been watching, I found a Blu-ray copy at my local buy-sell trade store for $8.
Nice.
So I'm going shopping later on.
There
So-
it is. Well,
I gotta
As a-
find
as-
a copy of it.
I think as far as any final thoughts that I have about the movie, I'm just gonna say I have never laughed so many times at so many stock gun cocking sound effects.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be an issue that I had because as a military person, I'm like, they wouldn't be cocking those guns as much as they did, and
No.
they should already have rounds chambered, and they should be fine. So
Yeah.
when,
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, most of those guns don't even sound like that when you cock them.
They sounded like they had like little submachine guns, but they sounded like 12 gauges being. Whoa, where'd that come from?
Well,
All right.
well, you know, well, one guy is in that big chamber in cover, doesn't know what's coming, and he goes. I'm just like, damn it, stop!
You should have had it. You should have had it chambered already, turkey.
All right. Well, that does it for episode 2 of Cam and Focus Weekly. Thank you guys so very much for coming out and talking with me about this. So as far as Debbie, Dave, and Andrew, you can catch them every Thursday and every Monday on the Feast of Fandoms channel for Cantina Happy Hour and MCU Mondays. Michael, where can we find you?
Right here.
Outstanding.
This is it for me.
Welcome to the club.
For now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And how about you, Cody? Any plugs? Any shameless plugs you'd like to drop here?
Eventually I'm gonna finish putting up my podcast, but I don't have a day picked yet. But
I
you'll be able
gotcha.
to find me at Cody.sucks. So
All right. Well, to everybody who's watched, thank you very much. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 3 of Cam and Focus Weekly. We will be covering the film Valkyrie, which Dave, I don't know if you're going to want to join for that. It is a Tom Cruise movie, but I think it's kind of a forgotten gem that completely fell through the
I have
cracks.
no idea what that is.
It's a good movie.
Yes, it's a World War II film, and I saw it. I saw it when it came out in theaters. I loved it, and nobody talks about that movie. Like it was like lost in time. So
I may have to find that on YouTube again because I'm not seeing it streaming anywhere.
it's on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ooh, oops.
Whoa, what's going on?
All
Got a
right,
little excited there. He heard Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much for joining me. Be sure to, like and subscribe to Cam and Focus, whatever you influencers say. We will see everybody next week.